Jennifer, back with Our Peaceful Planet. Welcome to our new Home Talk live video. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got a really neat upcycle makeover project using old filing cabinets. This one is actually going to be repurposed to be used in the craft room to store and organize fabric. You guys may have seen some of these around. This one's got kind of a different twist on it, so I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and get started by painting the cabinet, which you can see, this is an old piece of junk I found at a flea market. It cost me $3. It had some rust on it. I just wiped it down with Windex, sanded off a little bit of the rust to give me a smooth surface. And I went ahead and started painting so that you guys didn't have to watch me paint the entire thing. But I did want you to witness some of that because we are actually using chalk paint. And I bought the Waverly brand. I got this at Joann's, I think. I love the way the chalk paint paints. If you guys have never used it, you have to try it out. It eliminates the need for for any sort of primer, but it gives you just this beautiful, smooth, a little country kind of finish to it. And you can do a lot with that once you're done. So I'm going to go ahead and start by pouring some of this into my paint container. Make sure you guys let us know where you are tuning in from, what part of the world you're viewing from. If it's your first time and you're new, then welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support and being a part of our community here. Now you'll notice too on this paintbrush is absolutely enormous. This is a brush that they sell specifically for chalk paint. I splurged on it. Or to me it's splurging. It was $12 for this puppy, which I would normally not spend that much on a brush. I can tell you I've tried it with just regular paintbrushes, works just as well. So it's really up to you what you guys want to do. And I'm just going directly on to, and you notice it's black. This takes literally 2 coats. That is it. It covers everything so smoothly. And I don't know
Kathy says hi from Vermont.
Oh, hi, Kathy. Welcome.
Lisa from North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
We got Greenland. Got a lot of overseas people today.
Oh, awesome. I love it when we get people from all over the world, and I hope you guys get some great ideas. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Let us know what the weather is like in Greenland. I've never been to Greenland, or overseas at all, for that matter.
Turkey, Kuwait,
oh
Oklahoma.
My goodness. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, make sure too that you guys are commenting in here. We have a giveaway. We're giving away an amazing Hometalk tote bag, and it will go to a winner who's selected at the end. Just share with us what it is that you are DIYing at home yourself right now. Something that maybe you're making over to make it look new again. You want to make sure you get entered to win that. Oh, there we go.
We had one viewer said she was excited to see this because she never knows when to use chalk paint versus regular paint.
You know, I did the same thing. When I first discovered chalk paint, I tried so many things with it. I heard you could even paint like fabric furniture with it. Which apparently I did wrong because that was a total bust. But it really does, for things like this, that obviously I could take this out and spray paint it, but it doesn't adhere as well. It doesn't give as smooth of a finish to the touch, and it doesn't cover as well. This chalk paint stuff covers, I use it on furniture primarily, larger pieces of furniture, and it's just fabulous. If we have anyone out there who uses chalk paint a lot, share with us some of the things that you guys have done with it. Share with us some of the finishes. I'm sure there are so many people who would love to know what is going on, what our options are.
Joy Wright Ryan said she's just about to start her first project. A little side table, and she's so anxious and nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. That is the best part about crafting. You learn something new. Everything is unique, makes it all beautiful. I have faith in you. You can do it. So you'll notice I already took one drawer out of here. I prepped one. This drawer I'm pulling out, and most file cabinets have these little pushes back here, little levers you can push to actually remove the drawer. Easier said than done sometimes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that out of there. There we go. I had my son help me last time. All right, and I went ahead and painted the sides of these as well. And I did that because when I pull it out, I want this side is going to show. I did not go into the metal surface here. That's where it's sliding and all that's going to rub right off anyways. But this holds up great. So,
Joy says thanks for the faith, by the way.
oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Come back anytime you need some more. I got plenty to share. So I'm actually I'm gonna swap these two so you guys can see. I'll bring this up here so you can get in a little closer. Now this file cabinet has a label holder on the front and the handle. Most of these label holders actually just pop right out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in here. I'm just using a flathead screwdriver to help me pop it out of there. It's not even actually metal, it's just plastic in there. There we go. So we've removed that, and then we're going to remove the handle. This one, it looks like, is a Phillips, so I have a drill. I'm going to go ahead and use that to go ahead and remove this handle. For those of you just tuning in, we are making over an old file cabinet into fabric storage for your craft room. And it turns out so amazing. Definitely stay tuned to see the finished project. It's a little different than most of what you've seen out there. So, all right. So now that I removed that, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paint just the top of that with my chalk paint. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from as you join. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to enter for the free giveaway. Share with us what you are DIYing at home, guys. We want to know. Oh, I just love the way this covers. It is so fabulous.
Can you explain chalk paint?
Chalk paint literally is exactly what it says it is. It is paint that has calcium carbonate, which is chalk, in it. I think, in my opinion, I told you guys I bought the Waverly brand. It works great. I actually did one with the chalk spray paint as well. And, oh, we gotta get the top there. And I personally feel it's a little overpriced. So if you actually go to our website, ourpeacefulplanet.com, there are 2 recipes on there on how to make your own chalk paint. And it'll save you a fortune. You can just make it out of regular latex paint at home and get this exact same finish. Okay. So now that that one is done, one part of this project is we're going to make this metal file cabinet look wood. Another plus to the chalk paint is it does give it that softer feel to it. I picked up some 5x7 frames. I got these ones at Walmart. I think they were just under $4 a piece. And I'm going to use one of these on each of my drawers. Now this one I went ahead and already painted in the chalk paint. But what I'm going to do is once I've removed the glass out of there, I have a little bit of a lip and I want to fill that lip. So I went down to Home Depot and picked up, you guys might be familiar with this, some of this, what do they call this, MDF type board. It's very thin. I put 2 of them together. They were 3/16 each, so I put them together and they fit that space perfectly. And if you're lucky, you can pick up the ones that have this white coating on one side, which saves you, for 1, from having to paint it, but for 2, it works as a dry erase board, which is amazing. So these are going to actually go together before we apply them to the cabinet. So I'm going to flip that back and I'm going to grab my epoxy. Now I'm using Loctite epoxy because it is self-mixing and it sets in 1 minute. I still highly recommend letting it set overnight to fully cure before you put a lot of use on it, a lot of wear and tear. But I use this stuff a lot and it holds up absolutely great over time. Okay. I'm going to pop that open, leave that over there in case I need it. And insert the tip into there, and once you twist it and lock it in place.
How durable is the chalk paint?
It's actually very durable. On the slicker surfaces, on wood and things like that, it holds up absolutely great. On the slicker surfaces, I do recommend, set it a little out of reach. I do recommend using something like this. This is where I do fork out the money and I don't do it myself. For a protective top coat, I like the one that's made for the chalk paint. It really adheres to it really well. But I'm sure that any spray clear coat would work as well to kind of ensure that the surfaces that get used a lot don't scrape off. Oh, that's actually not what I need. I need going to the wrong tools already. So with the epoxy, I'm going to go ahead and line the inside of this frame. You can get in and see that. With just a thin line all the way around. And then I'm going to take this board that I've cut to fit in there. I've cut this to a 5x7, and we're just going to drop it down in. And we're going to let that set for 1 minute. So I'm going to set that aside so it can dry. And while we're doing that, I'm going to swap these so I can get a second coat on, and then they will be good to go.
Is the chalk paint easy to make?
It is. It is literally, you can do it 2 ways. And like I said, the recipes are on Our Peaceful Planet, but one of them is just latex paint and calcium carbonate, which you can buy on Amazon. And the other one uses plaster of Paris and latex paint. So very, very simple, easy to acquire ingredients. Okay. Now it looks like this. I should probably let it dry a little bit longer. It does actually dry very quickly, which is another plus in my book. Patience is not one of my virtues. But it's still going to go on, it looks like, and cover pretty good for us. So
we're getting some good shares. You should probably thank some of those people for doing that.
Thank you guys so much. We love it when you share our projects. Anyone you know who can benefit from them. And make sure you don't miss out on the new ones, you guys. Subscribe. We have videos all week long. They're all unique. They're all amazing. You don't want to miss out on those. I may have more things that you can share with your friends and family. All right. Now, because I'm upcycling this into a fabric holder, I would like to know who is watching that is a sewer, seamstress. Anybody who crafts with a lot of fabric, does a lot of sewing, let us know what it is you guys do. What do you make? I am not gifted in the sewing department. I have tried, but I'm always interested in what people are capable of doing with it. It blows my mind. So share with us your ideas and your projects. And if you have a way to organize your fabrics. Because if not, I'm assuming you guys are going to make one of these to use on your own. And I love being able to hear about actual scenarios of people putting these things in their homes and what color schemes they're using and if they're gifting them to people. Share that with the community, you guys. Now, in case we have, once again, some people tuning in a little bit late, we are making over a file cabinet using chalk paint, a couple of picture frames. We're going to get some new handles on it, and we are going to repurpose it. So stay tuned. It is going to be phenomenal at the end. You won't believe how easy it is to put all of this together. All right, and then I'm going to do one more on this guy. I'm just going to scoop it. All right, just about done there. And you'll notice I did those two sides, 2 coats, and this top 2 coats with maybe half a cup of chalk paint, which is another huge plus to it, is it goes so far. So you don't need a lot. I used half of this size. This is a 16 ounce. I used half of that for this whole project. So while it is a little expensive, if you don't want to make it yourself, it does last. So you can get quite a bit done with it.
Somebody was asking what brand of brush you were using. Would you like to explain that again?
Absolutely. I was saying earlier, this brush, this ridiculously enormous brush, is actually the same brand as the paint. It's a Waverly brush. I picked it up to see why they make these brushes for chalk paint, and I've realized that it's because it holds such a significant amount of paint. It also gives it this kind of, as most brushes do, a brush pattern to it that once it softens up, it kind of makes everything look like wood. It makes it look a little older, a little vintage. So I like it, but I have gotten the exact same results using a normal brush. I just have to dip it a few more times. So keep that in mind. All right.
Tia Hurt says that she wants to do this with her big army green cabinets and then do magnetic paint on the front.
Oh, that is brilliant. The magnetic paint, then you can have your whole board right there. Oh, of course, on the cabinets you would need to add that on there. Chalkboard paint too would also be pretty fun, I think. What a great idea. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. Now I've got this dried here. I am going to go ahead and show you guys how to apply this, but obviously I want this to dry just a little bit longer before I do that. So I'm going to set that one aside and make sure I don't need any touch-ups anywhere else. Oh, got some right there. That just needs to dry a little bit more. So I'm going to actually kind of turn it so you guys can see this side and how smooth and clean the finish is. I've painted this yesterday, and it really, 2 coats, it turns out absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the chalk paint. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to pull my other drawer up here, and then I'm going to show you how we assemble it. So I'm going to turn this forward so you guys can see the front there. And I'm going to grab our bottom drawer, which is already assembled. Now for those of you who do not use power tools regularly, all this takes is a drill. It is so much easier than it looks, you guys. So much easier. And I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So once I slide that back in, you can see I've got, no, I just put my hand in wet paint. I've got my frame mounted to the front. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then our new handle that we've put on. A lot of people, I've noticed, see these projects and they're just like, oh, it looks so time consuming. I don't know if I could accomplish that. Anybody can do this. Super, super easy. So this is not quite as dry as it should be, but we're going to go ahead and move on. This has already set, the epoxy in the frame, and I am going to center this to cover these holes right over the top there. So I'm just going to apply some epoxy to the back of this. Get that back out. Now because the epoxy sets in literally 1 minute, I have to swap out my tip, which this one comes with too, which is great, because this one is dried shut. So I'm going to take that out. And put on my new tip. And then, there we go.
Jenny Tees says, great job, looks simple, and she's loving it.
Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. It really is simple, you guys. There is so much on Hometalk. You guys would not believe what you can do in 30 minutes. It's so, so easy. All right, there we go. So I've got my epoxy on the back of there. I'm going to go ahead, and I could measure this out. I'm going to eyeball it. And we want it about right in the middle there. I tend to eyeball a lot. Because if it is a little off, you know what? It gives it some character. Nobody needs to be perfect at this stuff. Should be fun. There we go. Now that would normally take, like I said, about 1 minute to set on there. Because the paint is a little damp, it's probably going to take longer than that. So again, I would normally let this dry more in between, but I want to make sure you guys get to see it all come together. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward.
I had one question asking if you prepped the metal cabinet.
The only prep I did is I wiped it down with Windex, and there were a few spots that were rusty, so I did take a little bit of sandpaper to the rust spots because they were kind of bumpy. But I've done one of these where I just covered up the rust with the paint too, and it gave it a more unique look, I think. So very, very little prep work required. Now I'm going to do exactly what I just told you I don't do, and I'm going to measure something. So this is because I'm putting a handle on, and the handle, the screws have to be the 3 inches apart. So I am going to find the center. This is 6.5 inches across the middle, so that gives me 3 1/4. And then I know that my handle is 3 inches wide, so I need a screw on each side. So I'm going to put that center mark on the 1 1/2. I'm going to put a dot at 3 and a dot at 1. And there is my 2 main guides. I want to come down 1 inch from the top though. So those lines, or those dots I just did, I'm going to bring them down to the 1 inch mark because that's what I did on my previous one, and I want them to line up. Now again, the really cool part about using this board, you guys, very, very cheap, you can pick it up at any craft store, is it works as a dry erase board. So this stuff, I'm using a dry erase marker, it just wipes right away. Helps if you don't have paint on your fingers, but it do. So now that I have those, I'm just going to reconfirm that that's 3 inches apart. It looks like we are spot on. So I am going to get my drill.
While you do that, April says she's thinking of using this for her kids' artwork.
Oh, that is a brilliant idea. I might have to kind of steal that idea. I'm a little more sentimental than I should be. I keep a lot of stuff, and you would not believe the bins of artwork I have from my kids. It's a little crazy. So, another wonderful idea. Thank you so much for sharing. Now with this, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go slowly through the top portion, and then I'm going to hit the metal. And I'm going to just keep pushing down right through the metal. Speed it up a little bit for that part. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And it does pop right through the metal back because file cabinets, the metal on these things, it's not very thick.
People are liking your kitty socks.
Oh, thank you guys. They're my favorite socks. And I'm kind of an anti-shoe sort of person. So, all right. So now we've got the 2 marks for our handle. Now, you can do any style handle you want. I went ahead and picked up a plain silver one. I'm going to open up the screws that come with this. And I'm going to feed those up through the back. As soon as I can figure this out. There we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. Doing that blind is a little harder than you think.
Sue Gilman asked what size drill bit, but that would just be determined by the kit that you get for your handle, right?
That is correct. It depends on the handle. I think that most cabinet hardware comes with kind of a standard size. I'm wanting to say, and the drill bit obviously doesn't match that. These were listed as 32. I don't know what that means, but that's what was on the package. That's the size of screw we had. So this one, it looks like this is, well, I can't even read that, sweetheart. Can you? Something 64. That is a great question, you guys.
11/64.
11/64. All I know is that's one I keep set aside. Every time I do hardware, it always works. Now, if you're going with a single knob, I have seen some that have larger bolts. So double check it, but that should work. So now that I have that in there, you can use a manual screwdriver. I've got the drill here. I'm going to go ahead and use the drill. So I'm just going to set these on top. Probably put that down while I do that. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to start with that side. Get that one started. Any new viewers, last minute guys popping in, let us know where you are tuning in from. I cannot even see what is going on down there. I'm going to have to turn this, you guys, sorry. Got to keep track of what I'm doing here. Oh, it's at an angle, that's why. All right. And I like to go kind of back and forth between the two just to make sure that they're going in evenly. Perfect. Okay. So then we have our handle, we have our painted front, which again should have dried a little bit more, but we've got that bottom one there to show you. And then I'm going to go ahead and just insert that back in. To my file cabinet. Should have let that dry. Awesome. All right. So the neat thing about this, like I said, is we use these for fabric. And the way that we do that is, let me grab my file folders here. I use the same file folders that you buy at the store. You get a whole pack of 25 or 50 of them for under 10 bucks. And they hang right there on the sides and slide back and forth. Now each one of these can hold 2 different fabrics. So we spread them open like this and we simply drape the fabrics over. I also sometimes will put scraps down in. But I have some that I've already set up. So I can go ahead, I had these in here earlier, and drop this down in. There we go. And then I can easily flip through. You can do them by color, you can organize by patterns, by fabric type, whatever works best for you guys. And it makes everything so easy to find. It keeps it all nice and organized. It looks beautiful in the craft room. And the best part about this little dry erase is I can come up here and list that this is solid fabrics. And these are my patterns.
Candace Cooper Hunter says, awesome.
Oh, if I can write. Thank you, Candace. Thank you so much. And trim. Whatever it is you want to put on there, obviously. That's not the best handwriting. I apologize. But as you change things out, if you need to store different things in different drawers, you can easily just erase that and swap it out however you like. Now, I'm going to show you one other one. I'm going to go ahead and slide over so you guys can see one other option. This is the one that I actually have in my craft room. And these frames I found at Walmart. They were like $6 or $7 a piece, and they came with this fabric inset and this adorable little clip. So this specific one, and we put handles in at the bottom, do the exact same thing with it. There were a few holes in this file cabinet. There was a big hole up here and down here. So I bought some trim pieces, painted them to match, and stuck them on there as well. So you can really do these in any style that works for you, any colors you guys like. Let us know what you intend to do. Make sure you subscribe, guys. You don't want to miss all the other amazing videos that are out there. Hometalk is just, they're so phenomenal. You guys will be lost for days watching this stuff. So
our winner today is Kelly Fitz, and she turned an old mirror into a post-it board.
Awesome. Kelly, congratulations. What an amazing idea. A mirror into a poster board. I'm going to have to look something like that up, see what we can find. very creative. Thank you for sharing with the community. You guys have been amazing, and I cannot wait to see you guys when we come back next time. So make sure you tune in on Sunday for the next video, and have a great time crafting. Bye, guys.